Hi everyone, it's Julia, and I'm just going to do a very brief introduction to this course, Succeeding in Headship, which I understand is your first essential course. So there are just one or two differences from the course that you have previously done. The first thing obviously is the timescale. It's 4 continuous weeks. And several of you have already responded to say that you're able to commit to the time, so that's great. I'm still waiting responses from one or two. Apologies for the state of my voice today. I don't always sound quite so much as though I'm talking from my boots. I suppose winter cold, sorry about that. So here we are. This is the place that you will be taken to when you first arrive at the course. This is the course home page, and we always say, you see here, it says course home. I hope you are able to see my screen, otherwise I'm talking rubbish. At the top of the screen, course home, and you'll see the usual along the top here, the usual tabs to allow you to access different parts of the course. So the pre-course material you have already been sent, but I'll just go there so that you can remind yourself if at any stage you think, oh, what was it I was meant to be doing before we started? Here it is, the pre-course material. Some reading there, pre-course activities, course content summary which you've had, the learning planner which you've had, some information here about the think piece, which we ask you to read. We actually ask you to read it before the course starts, but then also you're prompted to read it during the course. So I don't think there are two different think pieces. It's all the same one. And then a couple of case studies, which would help you, I think, if you download and read those. Okay, so let's assume that you have completed your pre-course material, and here you are arriving at the course home page. The learning planner I'll come back to, I think. So here we are in the course home page. Every page, as you will have found in the last course, is set up with the same structure. You won't be able to see this panel on the right, the administration panel, because you obviously haven't got those publishing rights that facilitators have, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. So introduction from me, just a reminder about what you need to be doing. You'll see there something about diary planning, checking through the units for any meetings or school activity, and there are one or two of those that it's probably worth noting when you first log on, just to make sure that you can schedule those in advance, not suddenly arrive at the beginning of the week and think, oh my goodness, I haven't found time to schedule that meeting and I'm not going to be able to do it in time. If by any chance the person you want to speak to is unavailable, then obviously it's a question of having that conversation subsequently, even after the course is closed. So a little bit here, again, I think this is probably available in the other course that you've already done. The length of each post. Just beware that there are 19 of us in this group. If you are the 19th to arrive at a group discussion, it's great because you can read what everybody else has said, but actually
you have email.
It's daunting if people have written absolutely yards of material. So try to keep your contributions relatively brief. Key messages, it's very good practice for headship because you know what people's attention spans are these days. Key messages, and if there are other things you want to say, go away. Come back later in the week and add those, see what other people have said, whether they've agreed or not. You'll notice that this section is entitled A Learning Conversation. Well, it should be like a conversation. I always say to groups I work with, group discussions can become a little bit as though you're all sitting in a theatre. Somebody comes along, stands on the stage, announces what they think about whatever the question is, and stalks off. And then the next person comes along and does exactly the same, and actually there's no interaction between you. So please try to read what other people have said, comment, question, seek clarification, because that's how your learning grows, as you know. If you haven't yet added your photo, please do that. It is so helpful for me, if for nobody else, to have your photo there. I can kind of then link you to your photo and your personality. If you can imagine what it would be like to teach a class full of students, pupils with brown paper bags over their heads so they all looked exactly the same, you'll understand the difficulty. It really is helpful to have the photo there, and all the information we know about online learning is that you can connect with people much more effectively if you know what they look like. You're asked in this on the home page, your first activity really as you get onto the home page is to join the group discussion, your space. You'll see at the end of each area where you're required to contribute a button that you can click. This should take you, she says slightly anxiously, take you to the group discussion where you are asked to introduce yourself. I haven't yet done that. And talk about what you gleaned from the think piece and so on. So that's just a bit of a warm-up activity, but also it's really helpful for us to know something about each other and what you're hoping to get from the course. And as you see up here at the top, I've opened that, I've clicked on that link, it's taken me to the Your Space group discussion. That opens in a new window each time. So if I want to go back to the course home, I'm going up to the top left here and clicking on the course home. Then here you'll see that it just takes you to the record of evidence of your leadership competencies. I won't download that again, I've already done it once. That is to help you in your preparation for final assessment. Do have a look at that, but don't please get obsessed with the working towards final assessment. I always like to think of it as a gateway to headship, not the be-all and end-all of this course. So this preparation is for headship rather than for final assessment. We have the course timetable here so that you know where you should be when, and it's very helpful, as I think I said in my email, to try to keep in touch with this timetable. Otherwise, you get out of sync with everybody else, and either you're the first to arrive everywhere and there's never anybody else's contribution to read, or you're the last, and that brings its own hazards, as I've already explained. Helpful navigation tip there, which I'll leave you to read for yourself, and somewhere to go for help if you're really stuck. Any sort of questions about the course, the wider aspects of the course, please should go to your provider and not to me. But anything about the course, not the technicalities, but do you mind if I'm late with, or I'm going to be away next week so I won't be able to contribute, anything like that, please contact me about. And if you're unsure, do please contact me, and if it's not my area of responsibility, I'll point you in the right direction. So that's the home page, quick whiz through that. The individual discussions here at the top, you'll see this at the top of every one of the pages. And this is something that you haven't had to do previously, I think. So the idea here is, if I go to Unit A, I can show you how it works. So let's just skip over buddy groups for a minute and go to Unit A. And again, I won't go through the rest of the units because this is typical of all of them. So we start again with this list of names, which I'll come back to. Message from me. Again, diary planning, make sure that you know what should be happening when, and you've carved out time in your diary for that. There's always some core theory here. This is about establishing credibility. Core activities, you'll remember, are in blue here, and the personalized activities, in other words, the ones that you can choose to do or not, are in the panel below in green. And just to let you know that there is one personalized learning forum, so if you're doing any of these, you comment on them here. And although I certainly will dip into those, I'm not responsible for facilitating those discussions, so please take the opportunity to challenge each other when you're talking those conversations. I've often actually noticed that those conversations seem to go far better without me than the ones that I facilitate, so there must be a moral there somewhere. Somebody can tell me what it is, I'm sure. So going back up to the core activities for Unit A, you'll see here you're invited to download this research sheet, which obviously you click on and it comes to your computer. There's a suggestion here that you discuss it with your current head, so there's an interview date or a meeting date to be made. Then post a reflection in your ID, it says there, your individual discussion on the head's response to your questions. So when you see that ID there, what you need to do is to go to the list at the top, find your name. Adam, I hope you don't mind my using you. That will take you to your own space. So this obviously works for everybody. Sandra has very kindly set them up for us all. So this space is for your own reflections. And in order to reply, click on reply here, and you can leave your message here. And then click post to forum or cancel if you've made a mistake. And you can come back and edit that. Now, it's in your individual discussion that I will engage with you most. My intention is not to leave people contributions to individual discussions unanswered. I mean, obviously you're not asking questions, but without a response for more than a couple of days. So if you suddenly get to a week and I haven't responded, then please prompt me, because somehow I've managed to miss that. It is sometimes a bit of a challenge to keep on top of them. But that's certainly my intention. So if you know that if I've missed your contribution, then that's my fault, and please feel free to prompt me about that. So those are the individual discussions. I'll just go back to Unit A by clicking up here on the left. And again, down here, you'll see there's a buddy group discussion that you're asked to contribute to. The buddy groups I will put at the top of each page. But again, in order to find out which buddy group you're in, once you know, it doesn't change. So you can go to the buddy groups tab, and you'll see here they are, people's names. And again, these are, whenever you see your name in blue, they're links to your individual discussion. So if I'm in buddy group 1, which is a primary buddy group, I click on that to contribute. This is a straight lift from the unit itself, so the text should be the same, asking you to share your experiences of that first buddy group activity. And again, I will comment on those, but it would be good if you could comment on each other's. I'd like to think that my role as a facilitator really is to be made redundant, because you're so busy talking to each other and challenging each other that you don't need my intervention. Though, of course, I will be conversing with you in your individual discussion. So that's the buddy group. And let's go back to Unit A. Again, sorry, buddy groups. Trying to find Unit A, which I can't. So we'll go back by this method, clicking at the tab at the top. So Unit A, individual discussion, buddy group discussion, group discussion. There are 3 sorts of discussion: buddy group, individual, group. So this is for the whole group of 19 of you to contribute to this. Again, you download the research sheet, ask you to read the case study, which you may already have done. It was on the pre-course material, if you remember, and then contribute to the Activity 3 discussion. Here you'll see a chat room, which again you may well have experienced in your previous course. I haven't yet put the time up because I haven't quite worked out when I'm available, but I will put that up, and I will send a note of that to you. So chat room, remember, just drop in when it feels like the right time. I tend to leave those open for not too long, because otherwise people feel they've got to sit there for sort of 2 hours waiting for contributions, which obviously isn't the idea. But if you want to pop in for sort of 15 minutes, go away, come back, see how the discussion has gone, that's probably the ideal thing. And those are available after the event if you didn't manage to make it, so that you can see what was discussed. At the end of each unit, you're encouraged to update your competency evidence. That is entirely for you to decide whether that's a useful thing to do. Nobody asks to check that, as far as I'm aware. Okay, so each unit is structured in that way. Just a couple of other areas to visit. The progress, again, you'll be familiar with this progress sheet. So each time you complete something, you get a Y for yes, it's been completed, and then finally a nice smiley face. That's Dennis Johnson's idea. And the idea, obviously, is that finally, having done all of them, you get here by the deadline at the end of 4 weeks. So I will update those. If you think you've completed something and it hasn't been updated, then please let me know, but please give me time to do that. I tend to do it once a week at the end of the week. People are often very active on a Sunday, so I try to update this on a Monday. So if we've passed a Monday and your contribution hasn't been acknowledged here, then again, just let me know that you've done it, because somehow maybe I've missed it or it hasn't appeared where it should have done or something. That will be helpful. I will, as I think I said in my email, send you weekly emails just to remind you of what needs to be done, hopefully to encourage you to continue. I know it's quite hard to fit everything in when you're busy in the day job. Likewise, if you have any problems, please email me, particularly if you feel you're drowning in the day job and can't get to the course. Just let me know so that at least I can take account of what's going on. And if we have a conversation about that, I might even be able to help you do some prioritizing. Okay, I hope that's helpful. The review section is very common for people to get through to Unit D and think, oh, hooray, I finished, and forget this section. So please don't forget this section. It's rather helpful that you can see you've got 3 columns for each of the units. So if you know you've completed 3 activities in each of the units, then you know you've completed the unit. But then there is this review session at the end, which is an opportunity for you to share with others what you've enjoyed about the course, what your main learning has been, and how you'll use it. So that's a group activity, and you are asked inevitably to complete an evaluation form. Now here, this course and module completion. I'm sure it's heretical to say so, but actually I don't find it terribly helpful. So I have added, if it's helpful to you, you may wish to download this course and module completion checklist and respond to the 4 statements. It's really just a prompt to you to make sure you've done everything that's expected. And then a little bit about final assessment and what happens afterwards. So that's basically it. I don't imagine there will be any huge surprises there. But if there are, or if you're struggling at any stage, please do get back to me. I did say I'd go to the learning planner, so I'll just quickly look at that. Again, if you like detail and you like to be organized, this may well help you. If you're a bigger picture person and just want a sort of sense of what's going on, this grid will probably drive you mad. Again, it's entirely for you to use if you want. If you don't use it. 1 or 2 people have sent theirs to me in the past. I don't need to see it. It's entirely for you. Okay, so I think that's probably all I need to say. I hope that's been helpful to the few of you who said this would be a useful thing to do. And as I say, if there are any questions, do please get back to me. Don't hesitate. And good luck with online learning. I look forward to seeing you on the course. Bye for now.